Alright, I'm Matthew Johnson.
I'm Jacob Jones. I'm JT Sparks.
Clark Brady.
Our topic is immigration. Every single day, drugs, people, and women in sex slavery get smuggled across our southern border by the hundreds to even thousands. Illegal immigration is harmful to our society. We acknowledge that legal immigrants enrich our culture. However, illegal immigrants have proven to hurt our society. We will now accept questions.
You said in your opening statement, give me some statistics that you've uncovered about the smuggling that you talked about in your opening statement.
So, in 2018 alone, 1.7 billion pounds of narcotics were seized, 17,000 criminals were arrested, 6,000 gang members were apprehended, and there were 1,588 human trafficking arrests just at our southern border. And this stat was halfway through 2018. So I couldn't find the full year, but it got to the point of like August of 2018.
So that was, you mentioned what was seized. Were there any speculations as to what actually entered the country?
Well, 90% of total narcotics that are estimated, because we don't exactly know how much of narcotics are in the United States. However, we do know that 90% of it does come across our southern border.
Based on the statistics, what is your opinion of President Trump's emergency declaration on immigration?
You asking like all of us?
Anybody wants to answer? Or individually, however you can do it.
Like wall lines or
Yeah, him declaring that there's an emergency because of the immigration issue. It could be the wall, it could be any other
I wouldn't say
measures.
it's like we need to call for a state of emergency. I say there is a need to have more like security down at the southern border. And I mean, I think a wall personally would help, but that wouldn't solve all our issues.
So given the major caravans coming in, you know, I think the latest is 10,000, I think I just saw on the news before coming in, of immigrants trying to enter our country. It's your opinion that you would not consider that an emergency?
I wouldn't consider it like a crisis. But it is an emergency. I wouldn't call it like a state of emergency.
You said 10,000. What is the stat? How many try to get across per week or per month? What's your stats?
So per year, about 500,000 illegal immigrants do come across our border. It was estimated that in 2016, which is the earliest I can find, there were 11 to 13 million illegal immigrants living in the United States, and it grows by 500,000 each year.
And 40% of those illegal immigrants are coming across the southern border. So it's majority is in the southern border.
Which is 40%? Is that
40%.
Yes.
And can you explain what kind of burden that puts on the United States, maybe as it relates to healthcare, education, maybe some of those issues?
So, as of this year, illegal immigrants cost the nation between 200 and 250 billion a year. They cost us money by them alone not paying taxes. They don't pay taxes and they take jobs away from Americans because their work is cheaper. However, things like public school, public transportation, these things that we pay taxes for, they're getting for free because they do not pay the taxes.
So there's lost tax revenue.
Lots of
Okay. What else is costing us money?
They receive workers' compensation, and
They do?
yes,
Okay,
and
how so?
that surprises me. So there's nothing. It varies from state to state. Many states allow for illegal immigrants to obtain workers' compensation. The most audible about this seem to be Arizona, California, Colorado, Hawaii, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. So they're not really supposed to,
Okay.
however they do.
So they provide workers' compensation to illegal immigrants? Okay. Let's talk about here at home, the state of Kentucky. What's our stance on illegal immigration? Do we have illegal immigrants here? If so, how do we stack up nationally versus other states? Certainly we mentioned Texas earlier. I'm assuming that they would have a larger issue with that than we do, but what do we know about the state of Kentucky and illegal immigration?
Well, we didn't do much research on specifically Kentucky.
Okay.
I wouldn't think Kentucky is like one of the main focuses in the states because it's not really on the border. But we definitely do have, immigrants in the state, or illegal.
Well,
But
one of
we
the
didn't-
larger is,
Just one second for me, Jacob. Matthew,
We haven't
so illegal immigrants only stay in border states?
Not that, but I'm saying that the border states are more of a focus,
Okay.
obviously, because it's bordering other countries.
Okay.
So,
That's the point of entry, but do you feel like there could be an illegal immigration problem in a state that's not a border state?
there could be.
How so?
I don't feel, because, they're trying to escape. Obviously, the security is going to be most highly at the border states. So
Okay.
maybe if they can flee into more of the centralized part of the country, they can kind of escape it easier.
So they have to stay in those border states. So there certainly could be an illegal immigration problem in other states.
Right.
Including Kentucky? Okay. Jacob?
well, in Pennsylvania, just in Pennsylvania, it's projected that about 2020, illegal immigrants will cost American taxpayers up to $812 million annually through like public school systems and like medical expenses and just like other basic necessities like everyone needs, whether they're like legal or not. Like if you're here, you're gonna need like medical needs or like schooling,
How does illegal immigration affect public schooling or medical?
because that's all taxpayers' money,
Okay.
which is just the 812 million and stuff like that.
How about we just don't provide them medical care? Can we do that? Wouldn't that save us a lot of money?
Well,
Because if you don't have an ID or you can't prove to me you're here legally, I just won't provide you medical care. Can we do that?
thanks to actually Barack Obama with DACA and all of these things that he placed, Medicaid and everything that he introduced into our country, illegal immigrants, they're not really supposed to receive full benefits of Medicare, Medicaid. However, they receive just as much as a healthy person would. And so all that we pay for, they're getting essentially.
And it's estimated that it's costing the country around $250 billion a year. That's a lot.
Costing the country $250 billion a year?
$200 to $250 billion a year.
Does the country have that money? Does the country make its own money? Where does that money come from, ultimately?
Taxpayers.
Who are the taxpayers?
Us.
It's not me, not yet.
You can start
You
paying
might be
them.
a job.
You got a job, you're paying taxes.
I guess I do think so.
Do you all believe that Mexico shares any burden for trying to help prevent or help us do a better job at looking at who's trying to enter our country? Because oftentimes people are coming into their country as well, trying to get to the United States. Do you think they share a burden on trying to help us with this immigration problem? Because it seems like we share it or not.
I think Mexico should do something to help reinforce our statement of trying to keep them, because I understand that they're them trying to get to America. These people, it's probably easier to go to Mexico than America than coming straight to America. So they should probably share the same burden as us, but although it probably seems like they don't.
Okay. Seems like they don't. Do you guys feel that way? Is Mexico helping with this? Are they not helping with this? Are they standing idly by and just kind of watching it all
I feel
happen?
like they're trying to.
Are they?
I feel like they're somewhat trying to, but these
Okay.
caravans are able to get
Do you
together.
feel like they're trying to because they've been threatened by the President of the United States with sanctions? Or
Probably.
Ms. Crosby has hit on a perfect subject here. Let's dig into it a little deeper. Why would or wouldn't Mexico be motivated to help us stop the flow of illegal immigrants through the country and our country? What would motivate them? And they're not just going to do it to be nice. But what would motivate them either to stop it or not to stop it? Why would they not want to stop it? Let's start there. Let's
Well,
just
they
do
would
that.
not want to stop it because, like, drug fiends and they're like all the criminals that are coming out of their country, coming into our country. So it's like of that 90% or whatever stat it was that we shared earlier, it's like they're losing them out of their country. So it's more of like they don't really have as much initiative to like push through on the plane as we do.
So if illegal immigrants are flowing through their country, it's in their best interest to make sure they continue to go
To get out of their
leave their country?
Clean their country up.
Okay. Any other reasons why Mexico may be motivated, may not be motivated to help us stop the flow of illegal immigrants through their country?
It would cost them less money, I would think, because they're not having, well, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the economic process is over there in Mexico compared to ours, but they definitely be having to help less people and put America helping them help them.
Okay. So that wall you mentioned earlier, if that goes up, or if somehow we lock down that southern border and keep them from coming across, whose problem are they now?
Mexico's.
Is Mexico happy about that?
Some of the talk has been the use of troops at the border, and there are some cases where troops have been deployed. Are you in favor of the use of troops at the border, and how would they be used?
I think I'm in favor of it. I think it would slow down maybe the immigration, the illegal immigration. It probably wouldn't completely solve the issue, but like I said, I think it would definitely slow it down and make people, illegal immigrants, think for a second time.
Much of the southern border that we currently have up it's pitiful, it's disgraceful. So more personnel, and if we do not get a wall up, more personnel and vehicles is absolutely necessary. But if we get a wall up, that would honestly be the best scenario possible for our southern border, I personally.
So, let me just follow up with that. So, using these troops, what job do you assign them, or how do they do the same job as an immigration official? Do they work beside them? Do they work independently? Are they combat ready? How do you use them in that role if you're in favor of them being there?
I would say more combat ready because, like, I personally believe that illegal immigration could be just a direct threat to the United States, so they could take any action necessary to protect our country first.
I would say that they work they coexist, train these troops to be more like these patrol groups to scan the border and just make sure no one crosses, and if they do, just arrest and apprehend the threat.
A lot of these immigration officials, are trained to be multilingual. They obviously are trained in techniques for detaining people. That's not the role of the military, though. The military's role is typically very different than that. I'm a little concerned that you would say combat ready. That means, combat rules are very different. I don't necessarily see this as a war, although I do agree with Clark that it's a threat. It's not necessarily a war. So, would you change your response thinking about that? Thinking
I mean,
about it that way?
combat ready, I don't mean like
Like
just
fight
kind
them
of
or
raging
shoot
like a
them.
fire spot or anything. I just mean like ready to protect our country. Like,
More just kind of like to scare them, sort of.
I guess here would be let me rephrase it like this. Do you feel like that would create more problems, or that would be beneficial?
It would
Putting troops at the border.
I think it'd be more beneficial, so if you especially train the troops, 'cause like you said, they're totally different, like war troops that are deployed and feel on the border. If you're on the border, they're bilingual, they know how to communicate well and get their story. And I feel like if we send troops down there, we'd have to special train them like that, because I don't think they would be ready for that, but I think it would be good for them to coexist if special training.
It takes time and money,
It
but
takes
still.
time and money.
Yeah.
But maybe in the long run, it ends up benefiting America.
All the stats that you all shared basically say it's a problem. It's a huge problem. I've got a personal friend that works for the DEA, and he would back up your stats about 90% of narcotics coming from that. His stat to me was 95% of the people that he arrests in those situations are coming from that direction. They're those type of people. So how in the world does our media get it so spun around to where we should be allowing these people to come? What did you find out? What's their reason for wanting us to be open and have open borders? Why do we have certain cities that are safe spots for them?
I think a lot of people think that immigration brings culture to our society. It just brings a mix, and the good mix. But there's a difference between like doing it illegally and doing it legally. I think.
I feel like that, people that are for illegal immigrants coming in the country and being open, they're like, well, we're now the people that are against illegal immigration. Y'all are just lucky to be in America. You're just lucky being born in America. Everyone should have the ability to live in America if they want to, which doesn't, isn't helping America with the financially and how much we're spending. But they feel like sort of that we're bullying other countries, maybe in a sense.
Obviously, most of the media does lean towards the left, and the Democrats do believe that all undocumented immigrants who work hard, pay taxes, and pass background checks should be able to become legal residents. But we see that these illegal immigrants are not doing some of those things like paying taxes.
So how long does it take? If they do it the right way, how long does the process really take?
It would take 6 months to a year.
Yeah, it depends, because, so you have to get a visa first to get into the country legally. Once you get the visa and green card, you can apply for legalization. So there's a couple of processes. So it's about 6 to 12 months for it to become illegal. But for the green card and the visa, it takes about 2 to 2 months, 2 weeks to 2 months.
So a couple of months ago, or maybe it may have even been last year, there was some girl over at Dunbar, and there was a story, and it was like, it took her parents 12 or 13 years to get through the process. Where's the discrepancy at? How do you all say it's 6 months to a year, and somebody else gives the example, 12 or 13 years? And we're still
You do have to take a test and make sure you can comprehend English well. You can read, write, speak English. I don't know that case. I don't really know about it. So maybe that was an issue. I don't know. But you do have to take a test to prove you know about the U.S. government. You know the history of the U.S. And like I said, you need to know how to read, write, and speak English. So maybe that helps with that.
But then you differentiate too. When some people come in on visas, they go through one process, but when they come in illegally and they want to become citizens, oftentimes, did your research show that they get a court date and the courts are overwhelmed with people trying to become citizens, that oftentimes they can't get the court date, so it's a issue with just the system being overwhelmed.
Well, you also got to think, like, the people that come in illegally, it's a lot, like, cheaper for them to come in illegally if they can. They come in legally and have to pay taxes or, like, everything that every other U.S. citizen has to do.
And of course, like, it should take 6 months to a year to become illegal. But we see our court systems overflooding. That's why I think hiring more judges or doing anything they can to help speed up this process, because there are people that do need to come into our country. I believe legal immigration is perfect, which is our culture. But we just want to make sure that we do it.
JD, should everybody who shows up at the border get a court date and be able to
Well,
look at that process just because they walked across the border?
You have to pass back. Well, back off his question. The average was 6 to 12 months. There could have been like a road bump, and getting the background check or getting them in the court could have been something like that. But I don't think everyone should they should, if they have a good background check, have a good knowledge of the United States, speak English, read, write, do all the basic necessities to actually be legal. I think they should get a court date.
I think what you guys are describing is actually becoming a naturalized U.S. citizen, as
Yeah.
far as having to know history and speak the
Yeah.
language and those sorts of things, which, to Ms. Crosby's point, is completely different from getting a green card or getting a worker visa or those sorts of things. Just being able to legally be in the country. We know that you're here. You are contributing back to society by paying taxes and those sorts of things. We are giving you this level of support. You're supporting the country in this way. You're not illegal. We know that you're present. Let's shift that just a little bit. I lost my train of thought here. Just a minute. We talked about the military being deployed to the border. Do we feel like that's necessary right now? Is there something that has changed at the border recently? We certainly alluded to a good bit of it. Is it more or less dynamic at the border right now than it has been? And if so, how do we feel about the military being there?
I mean, right now, without the wall that he wants to build, that's
Okay.
not completely up yet. I mean, there's a wall there, but obviously it's not doing its job.
So there is some sort of a wall or barrier
Right, so
in
there
some
are
places,
fans
or
it's
all
kind of
places? No?
patchy, just
Okay. So there's sections somewhere not a barrier some other places. Okay.
especially I think if the wall ends up not being built, I think you definitely, like you said, have to have some sort of protection there.
Okay, so you guys feel basically as a whole that having the military present there right now is a good thing?
Me personally, I would not say that. I would
Okay.
say
Why not?
sending the troops directly there right
Okay.
would be a